Welcome to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host, Adorable Earth Angel. I'm a holistic wellness educator of 12 years with a master's in public health, energy healing of 7 years, and have been a Black female spiritual alchemist my whole life. Each week, we'll be sharing uplifting, spiritually focused wellness practices to best support you in regaining your personal power, or we'll have special guest interviews with the same intention. This show is in service to all those listening, and especially for folks of color who are seeking information to support their physical, mental, and emotional spiritual awakening. These practices will help you live your best life. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We are very excited to be continuing this series into the new year. Today we're going to start off right away with a 2020 cleansing. For all beings who are listening to this transmission, we are going to be offering you right now a 2020 cleansing. And this 2020 cleansing is inspired by the times that we're in right now. Some people were able to get a break over the holidays and hit the reset button. Some people were not. They were working through the holiday, or they feel, or maybe in a place where there's just a lot going on. And so I'm taking the opportunity right now to create space to do some energetic work, which is exciting to kind of be using more energy healing tools. And so I just invite you, either with your eyes open or closed, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you're doing. This energy healing is going to work. It's going to help clear things out. I invite you to just kind of drop into your heart. And just what that means is take your attention to the place where your heart is. And just take a couple of conscious breaths. Go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. And hold your breath. And then breathe in from there a little bit more. And hold. And breathe in one more time. And hold. And release. We're going to do that 2 more times. And if you can't breathe like that, you're around people, or it just doesn't make sense to do that, then just breathe deeply. What we're going to do is we're going to breathe in, and hold, and then let go. So let's do that again. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Let go. Good. You might already feel that space opening up in your body. So this time what we're going to do, we're going to breathe in all of the, all of the tension, all of the negativity, kind of the energy that's conscious and unconscious each time. And then this final release, we're going to let that go. We're going to let some space open up. So go ahead and breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in and hold. And let go. Now you may notice that you instantly feel different. Now you can do this, if you couldn't do this exercise right when we just did it, you can do it another time. You can do it all the time. I love this exercise. It's really simple to just breathe in and hold your breath. And what this does is it really allows you to push out all of the stale air in your lungs and creates more spaciousness. Now from here, I invite you to just go back to regular breathing and dropping into your heart center. So just that place again where there's just a recognition of this place where there's a lot of love. And our heart center is the heart chakra. That's a place where we have a lot of love. So within that, I invite you to kind of drop into thinking about any challenges you may have had this decade, staying in a place of love and positivity, not really going into the story, just kind of staying in your heart. And thinking about the people, the places, and the things that have challenged you to grow, maybe challenged you to change. Maybe you're in that growth edge right now and it's like hard. and just sending kind of love to yourself and to the situation. And then I invite you, if it feels good, if you feel like you're ready to let go with love and positivity, to just let go of that energy that held you for a decade, to let go of the energy that held you from last year. Any negative emotions as it relates to people, circumstances, as it relates to maybe even your internal landscape, maybe frustration around any anxiety or depression, just compassion for yourself, compassion for your family and your friends and your work environment, your spiritual community, wherever you find it necessary. If you are willing to step into a new frequency, I invite you right now out loud to say yes. And I invite you to then take some beautiful pink energy from your heart. And with that yes, go ahead and travel the yes from your heart all the way up your spine. Good. Take it all the way up to the crown of your head. And just imagine like you're an angel. You have wings on your back. And just go ahead and open the yes like angel wings, like opening and stretching your back muscles and just opening to the energy of yes. And just breathing with that. Beautiful work. Now go ahead and from your heart, go down and stretch and extend the energy of yes down into your belly, down into your hips, down into your toes. And just go all, and eventually underneath you there's earth. So eventually, if you keep extending the energy of yes, it goes and touches the earth. Underneath the concrete, there's earth. And just feeling the yes just kind of going deep into the earth. And when you feel that, go ahead and signify that by just taking a nice big breath. Just to kind of acknowledge that you can feel that connection to that energy of Mother Earth. And then from here, we're going to come back, draw the energy back up from the earth. So breathing in and just sucking all of that fresh energy up from the earth like roots of a tree, bringing it up into your toes, this fresh renewal energy up into your knees and your thighs and your hips, up your back, up your shoulders, up into the crown of your head. And just feeling that expansion. Now, we're going to take that energy up, and just like roots of a tree or beneath you on your feet, imagine that you have branches above you. Like out of the top of your head, a beautiful tree emerges, and it goes all the way up. And just see that pink light of love radiate all the way up above. And this tree grows, and its branches are beautiful and bold, goes up above the stars and past the sun and past the Milky Way. And it is the energy of yes, and it is a big yes into the future. You know, beneath us represents the past, and above us represents the hope, future generations, and it's us saying yes to what's to come, while acknowledging that our past is the only reason why we can go forward. And so we're just going to close by saying, and so it is. That statement means, yeah, like that's really what's happening. That's what's happening with my life, that I'm claiming that yes. I thank you for doing that, because every time we do energy healing, what most people don't understand is that the energy healing work is important for our own lives and our own enrichment. But what's really powerful is that when we do energy healing work, especially, you know, healing work that heals our ancestors, that heals our ancestry, we're raising the frequency of every single person in our life. That can feel good or bad to some people. And that's so important. It's so important that we find ourselves in the time, in the space, and the energy of being on this planet to say yes to healing our ancestors, to saying yes to healing for ourselves. And so thank you for doing that activity, regardless of how much you were able to really do it. I'm hoping for us to do energy healing activities often. These activities that I do, I've done with clients for over 7 years. And so they work. And regardless of our understanding or our perception of what the activities do, anytime we claim something energetically as truthful, on some level, whether we're conscious or not, it is working. That's just how it works. We have the ability to actually wield. We have the ability to wield or yield our energy depending on where we are, depending on if we feel brave and strong, or if we feel in a sense like victim, like someone is taking advantage of us. And that actually brings me to today's subject of conversation today. There are a lot of different planetary things that are happening in the sky. You might be feeling a lot of feels right now. We just had the full moon in Cancer, which is is ruled by the moon. So there's just so many different feels that are going on. We just had one of the most biggest planetary moments happen. This planet Saturn conjunct this other, not so much of a planet, Pluto. And that, in a sense, kind of created a lot of change, and is still creating a lot of change, but it might feel a little bit like a slow death. And some of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about, like a slow death of a certain part of your life where you were doing something in one way, and it's almost like you've been preparing for a while now for a change. And so like what we're finding is that the energies that we're feeling with this slow death isn't brand new. As I speak to it, maybe you've been feeling this shift for a very long time, and now it's just becoming really pronounced. Some of us are fully in that new shift, and some of us are still in the process of being in the middle, like in between worlds, in between one place and going into another. And I would just say for you who are stuck in between this place of dying, this place of something leaving you, there's beauty in this kind of slow surrender to a process. There's a way in which you're being tested in your ability to remain equanimous, which is a term that means how do you stay unconditional and balanced as you witness this change and this dying? How do you not allow people or circumstances to ruffle your feathers and to just let that energy go and pass and not collect it and store it inside of the soul in your being and seed these kind of disastrous outcomes? There's something really poetic and divine about this slow process of this transition, and within it there's the stretching and the capacity. This is what I'm hearing for you out there. The reasons why this is taking so long, the reasons why this change and the shift in your life is taking forever, is because the very energy that you need in order to be on the other side and doing that new thing requires you to have a really big capacity. And there's nothing that builds a greater capacity than having something take a long time. Because what's happening is you're having to stretch as you're waiting for more. Maybe it's financial resources, maybe it's emotional resources, maybe you're being stretched within your mental health and your ability to handle adversity. And through it all, it's that level of slow cook, slow burn that's stretching you out to make you into a freaking boss. Basically, you're turning into a boss. And a boss is someone who's tested, who's seasoned, who's not rattled. And when you get checked at this level of this kind of slow burn energy, when you have something come at you where it's taking a really long time, as things shift and you're in this new frequency, and when you're in this new path and you're doing this new thing, as things hit you, it's like a fly on top of an elephant. You know, it's like a tiny little microscopic issue will come at you, and you're so much bigger than that issue because you've been stretched You slowly died and you were reborn. And that is the fire. That is like this kind of slow process. Scorpio, the Pluto energy is this kind of fiery energy. And it's this cold, and it's about this idea that, this archetype of this bird that dies and is reborn. It's very much about death and rebirth and cycles. But with Saturn there, it makes it really slow. And so we're having to just be with this really slow process. And we're like, when is this going to be over? And that's one way that we can look at it. Or we can just sit back and enjoy the ride and be like, okay, this is going to take time and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I am here to be the master of my own life. I do not need the conditions to be different in order for me to embrace my life changing. And there's just so much grace, and there's so much power in one's ability to manage and navigate the challenges that can surface when one has to deal with the energy of time, when one has to feel the frequency of delay, that your dreams are being deferred and delayed, and you're still having to, and you're being asked by the universe, do you still want this? Do you still want this? You're not going to know if you're going to get it, but you're going to have to still do the things that you need to do. That doesn't mean like, well, when I have it, then I'm going to act like this. When I have the thing that I want, then I'm going to be like that. And I know this ain't church, but I know I'm preaching to someone out there. I know someone needs to hear this message right now, right? There's somebody out there. I just heard someone say, amen. I just heard someone I just feel it. There's someone out there who needs to hear this message, that there's something so purifying about this slow burn. And it's seeing your resolve. And that's what it takes to be a leader, is to have resolve and have the ability to be bigger than the problems that are coming at you. And the only way you can be bigger is if you go through this slow burn process. And sometimes even during that, there can be surprises that are thrown at you. Which brings me to another planetary thing that's happened at the same time. We just had Uranus, the planet of spontaneity and surprises, went direct in Taurus. So for some of us, what that could mean is there might be some good or bad surprises as it relates to resources, as it relates to money, as it relates to partnerships, anything ruled by Taurus, which are kind of those two main things as it relates to food, just stuff that like there might be some surprises. Maybe you're like, oh, I have to get a new job all of a sudden, or oh, I have to figure out what's going on with my partner, or oh, I have to. So there could be also that that's another little extra such and such that's thrown in there. Just there might be some surprises happening, and within that, can you hold the energy of surprise and have faith that there's a bigger picture? Could it be that you have outgrown this circumstance and maybe you wanted it to move slower when it comes to this surprise? Maybe you're wanting this other thing to move faster and you're wanting this other thing to not surprise you, and you're getting these two opposing forces of a surprise and something that's moving slow, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do with that? So that's another element of what's coming up for some people out there, is that there might be some surprises that are surfacing simultaneously. And how do we navigate the energy of surprise and still maintain and hold our resolve? And all of these themes are all about mastery, because there's ways in the past in which we've handled these circumstances and have thought back and said, you know what, I did not want to handle it that way. We may not have said those words, but at some point we're like, I could have done that better. And this is the moment where we get to show ourselves that we can do it better. And in fact, guess what? You are doing it better. All the time, I would even say a lot of people that I've worked with are always so concerned about the fact that they haven't done enough. And that can be really challenging, because the only way in which you're able to move forward as it relates to the law of attraction, which says that which is likened is attracted onto itself, is if you are living from a place of gratitude, a place of unconditionality, and a place of positivity. Not to say that you can ever be negative, or that sadness doesn't exist, like you're supposed to walk around like everything is peachy keen, but like there's a way in which if we don't address like a negative loop or a cycle in our mind, then we activate the same situation happening over and over and over again. And breaking the cycles of karma for ourselves and our family requires us to be stronger than the problem that is coming at us. And that's what it means to be a light warrior. That's what it means to be a spiritual being of justice. It's to recognize that life is coming at you for your ability to show it that you are a master. That no matter what people try to throw at you, you can rise above and raise the frequency. You can have high standards, and you can allow yourself to be in a place of shifting the frequency of everyone around you by remaining in your dignity, regardless of whatever someone else does. You could have people behaving badly or going against their own, or going against good value systems. And what that indicates to you is that you're doing your job. Because oftentimes when we're in our light, when we're in our dignity, that is going to stir up some things for people around us. And they might attack us. They might do something that tries to harm us, to bring us down a notch. It might try to bring us down a couple of levels. And I know I'm talking to somebody out there that knows what I'm talking about. And they're friends, and it's probably harmless, and it doesn't mean anything. But at the end of the day, you can ruminate on what that person did and how they said that. That just perpetuates more of that energy of darkness that loves to be talked about. Darkness loves to be talked about. Darkness loves to be gossiped about. Darkness loves that. Why give in to the darkness? Why not be the one who brings the light? And when I say darkness, I want to also, like, something that happens in a lot of spiritual communities is they do this duality of dark and light. And I actually don't want to perpetuate that. I'm a dark person. I'm a Black woman. And so I'm not trying to say that dark is bad. But what I'm wanting to get at is, and even in this moment, I'm self-correcting. I don't want to say darkness versus light, because in some way that insinuates that light, white is right. And that's like, it goes against the whole purpose of this show, is to uplift the Black community and also other people of color out there, and white allies who are trying to understand how to spiritually uplift their brown and Black brothers and sisters. And so this show is in service to that. So I just also want to address that and just self-correct in front of you, to just kind of let that be the truth around, just remembering that. And so what I mean is more so positivity and negativity, density and things that are dense in nature and things that are lighter, meaning that they're less heavy. Dense energy, negativity, it's dense, it's stressful, it's harsh, it's disease, it's toxic. Those energies, they love to be talked about because they gain more power. And in this lifetime, we're not here to let that energy win. But it's the level of awareness within us. And the only thing that I know, I'm going to keep it real. The only thing I know that can help you build awareness is meditation. That is the only thing that can help you see the water, if you're like a fish seeing that it's in water, or a tree noticing that it's in the woods. It's like the only way you're going to wake up to who you are and have a buffer of energy around you is if you have a consistent meditation practice. Now, you don't have to be meditating for hours a day in order to really be on that journey. In fact, that's not recommended at all. That could be really detrimental to your practice, because if you're just going from I never meditate to trying to meditate hardcore, that's going to be a real challenge. But I wonder for 2020, those out there who are willing to take a meditation challenge, who are willing to to dive in there. And there's so many different apps. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Maybe I should be, but there's so many meditation apps that you could use right now if you like apps. There's Headspace. There's Calm. So there's these different apps that allow you to meditate, and they're guided. And then eventually you get to a space where you just quiet your mind and you focus on your breathing, and you're just allowing yourself to stay within a quiet, empty mind, and that raises your frequency. And as you walk around in your everyday life, when people try to come at you with that nonsense, you just have all this spaciousness, and you just look at them and go, oh, look at this being over here trying to test me. Oh, they're trying to help me become a master. Okay, I see what's happening. And you could see that. You're like, oh, you're trying to help me become a master by testing me. I've meditated and I see what's going on here. And I'm going to stay in my power. In meditation, it helps to take us from a reactive state to a responsive state, where we're responding to things, we're not reacting. And that's where we have the most power. The most power that we have is when we're able to respond with things from a place of recognizing our own decency, from a place of compassion and love, and to try to liberate ourselves and that other person who is clearly suffering. You know, when people try to come at you and take you down and knock you down and abuse you and take advantage of you and do whatever types of things that may be surfacing in this slow period / surprise period, there's something that could be said about your ability to own and still have compassion and love for these people and what they're doing and these beings. And in that, there's so many solutions that come at you. When you, I'm just going to break it down. If someone's coming at you right now, or if something's happening that feels really hard, the worst thing that you can do is to condense your energy. And what I mean by that is you start to stress out, you start to worry. What that does is that makes your energy so dense that opportunities can't get in. You ever notice that when things are getting good, all of a sudden all these cool things are starting to happen simultaneously? And when things start getting crazy, more crazy things start happening, you're late for work or you stub your toe, it's because the energy of negativity starts to attract like into itself and vice versa. So you could be on this great trajectory and out of nowhere someone comes and tries to pull the rug from underneath you and you just stand up and go, okay, I could walk on the hardwood floor. I don't need a rug. And what that does is that ends a cycle within you. That ends a cycle of someone having power over you in that way. Of your ability to be brave beyond measure by saying, I don't need this circumstance in my life in order to be brave, and then actually still to choose love. I can still love this person. I can still send love and light to the situation. And that's when you aren't owned by anyone. That's when you really have mastery. And the only thing, again, that can give you that level of awareness to make a different decision, to choose a different neurological pathway, is meditation. It is the only way. Now, I want to have a full episode devoted to meditation. I actually just got back from a meditation retreat myself over the holiday break. I started getting into this meditation style called Vipassana. It's a 10-day meditation retreat. It's silent. So it means that for 10 days, you are having very minimal talking. I say minimal because you're allowed to ask the teacher assistants questions. And so this meditation technique of Vipassana is taught in the GoInca style. And GoInca is a teacher who, he's a Burmese Indian man who grew up in Burma and was a businessman and actually approached this Burmese, I'm sorry, my mind is blanking. A Burmese meditation teacher, in Burma and said, hey, could you teach me how to meditate so that my migraines will go away? And the guy's like, get out of my face. Like, come back to me when you have a better response. And so GoInca's like, okay. And so he goes back to this meditation teacher and he's like, okay, I really want to learn the technique. I just want to learn it because I want to learn I want to have more freedom. I want to feel liberated. And so he learns it. And long story short, that meditation teacher, he says, hey, actually, there's a prophecy that this meditation technique, which was taught by the Buddha himself, would actually revive and spread across the world. And GoInca said, okay, I'll do that. So he decided to spend the rest of his life in teaching Vipassana meditation, 10-day courses, 3-day courses, 1-day courses, 30-day courses, 40-day courses, 60-day courses. And lo and behold, now there's over 100 Vipassana GoInca style meditation retreats over the world. So you could go and learn this in Africa. You could go anywhere in the world and sign up for these retreats. I happen to live in California, So I've only been to retreats in California, and it's just life-changing. It's life-changing to be in a place where you are transforming your life right before your eyes, where you are breathing and being with what really is. Like, this meditation technique shows you the power of reality. Before I did this 10-day, I'm going to just stop myself and share. I had been meditating for 7 years, on and off. You know, the most I was doing was like 30 minutes, and then I built up to an hour. And so in order to be meditating, you know, for 10 days straight, for about 10 hours of meditation, there's breaks, of course, and there's plenty of instruction. And when you go on the GoInca Dharma website, if you're like, oh, I want to do this 10-day meditation, what you'll find is that they even say that you don't have to have meditation experience in order to join. And I would agree. But what you do have to have is a strong will and determination to finish all 10 days, because you have to. It is required that you stay for the full 10 days. You also can't be on any intoxicants. You have to be okay with adhering to a vegetarian diet. So, and it's did I mention that it's 100% donation based? So it's pretty much free. And it has been the most amazing part of my journey. I did my first sit 3 years ago, and every year I go back. And lately I've been going back and serving, which is like supporting the new students, and I'm serving as an old student. And so that's been my meditation journey as to date. I meditate 2 hours a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, and I've seen my life do a complete 180, to be honest. Like, I've seen a complete flip. And not to say that it's been like roses and peaches, but what I mean, it's like, if something comes at me, I'm just able to handle it with such grace. And I'm just able to just have like the dexterity of my brain and the dexterity of just how I'm able to move in the world is just so, it's just beyond words, just how blessed it is to have found this experience. And so I just invite you, if you have any questions about Vipassana or any questions about meditation, go ahead and send me an email, drop me a line, let me know, or let me know any other meditation styles you might want to hear about. Maybe you're a meditation teacher and you want to actually come on the show and talk about it. Like, please hit me up. You can hit me up at adorableearthangel@gmail.com. Go ahead and shoot me an email. I'm also on Instagram under Adorable Earth Angel. And I'm just sending you so much love and peace and prosperity. And don't let them test you. Don't let them get at you. Let yourself be with the slow burn. Let yourself be with the surprise, and beam light back in their faces. Love and light. And I'll see you next week. I'll quote unquote see you next week. Take care, everybody. Love and light. Peace.